and Illinois lawmakers making their pitch to be the team's new home.
Yeah. Millions of people right here in Illinois, a clean slate. Thank you so much for joining us at 5. I'm Tia Ewing.
And I'm Paris Schutz. Terrence has the night off. First tonight, we are a little under 48 hours away from the Bears' first divisional round playoff game in more than a decade.
A win will take the Bears to the NFC Championship game and hopefully the Super Bowl. Tina Wynn is here with more on that. Tina, they're going to the Super Bowl.
Hey, mid-January here in Chicago, and we are still playing football here.
Yes.
The Bears are, Bears wrapped up their final practice before the divisional playoffs earlier today, and this will be their biggest challenge yet as Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, and the Rams roll into Soldier Field, getting set to brave this wintry weather. It is supposed to be in the 20s on Sunday, but it's going to feel like single-digit temps with winds around 20 to 25 miles per hour. They call that bear weather up here, and the Bears have experienced plenty of comeback magic this season. How about Caleb Williams has repeatedly delivered in critical moments, saw the 27-yard completion on 4th and 8 to Romo Dunze. He's led the Bears in multiple comebacks, calm under pressure, always rising to the occasion and impressing his first-year head coach in Ben Johnson.
I appreciate his approach when he comes in the building. He's all about football. He loves this game. He desperately wants to be good. He wants to be great. He wants to be one of the best to ever play. I love how he's wired as a person, as a competitor. I think he's going to continue to get better in this league. He's a big reason why we're where we are today. You know, being able to make all these plays that he has over the course of the season, and you know, I think. He's going to be leading this franchise for a long time.
All right, Fox Chicago is your destination for coverage of the Bears and Rams game on Sunday. It all gets underway with Bears Game Day Live, a special time, 12:30 p.m. Set your alarms. Luke Canellis, Anthony Herring, Cassie Carlson, and I will have you covered for 90 minutes. Then after the game, head on over here to Fox Chicago for full reaction and analysis, including post-game pressers from Ben Johnson and the players. Coming up later in sports here at 5, the best quotes from Ben Johnson and the Bears this week as they prepare for the Rams. Tia?
All right, thank you so much, Tina. Where the Bears will be playing in the future, we know is still up in the air. Gary, Indiana, now taking another step towards bringing the team there. Today, the city identified 3 sites where the Bears could build a new stadium. The first is in the Gary West End Entertainment District. Then there's the Buffington Harbor and finally Miller Beach. Gary Mayor Eddie Melton joined us on the news at 4 about why he decided to release these renderings right now.
I think it's important that the fans know how viable these options or locations are. And I wanted to make sure, of course, I had conversations with Mr. Warren. We've talked a couple of times about the potential of this opportunity and looking forward to furthering that conversation. When I watched the reports of what's taking place in the state of Illinois, as a former state senator here in Indiana, I know that Indiana has the business climate. We have the policies that's going to make any business successful. To be so close to Chicago with the South Shore double track that literally passengers can get on a train from downtown Millennial Park right to downtown Gary or other parts of Northwest Indiana in a matter of minutes. This is something that is still the Chicagoland area. It just makes a very good business sense, and it's still going to be the Chicago Bears.
And it's not just Gary making a push for the Bears. Hoosier lawmakers came out with their proposal last night.
And today, Arlington Heights officials are playing a little bit of defense.
Arlington Heights Mayor James Tenalia and a coalition of political and labor leaders beg Governor Pritzker and Springfield lawmakers to get a deal done or risk losing the Bears to Indiana.
We can't fumble this opportunity.
The mayor says he and the city of Arlington Heights are on board with allowing the Bears to negotiate property tax rates with the village. That's something the state would need to approve. He said the Bears face yearly property tax bills in the hundreds of millions of dollars without it.
These are numbers that are not marketable. They could never finance a project like that. And then if anything were to happen, they could never sell it. There's no buyer for that. So the number has to be tolerable. Just like you would not design your own home or your own office building knowing that your tax bill is going to be out of control, you'll back off and either cancel the project or redesign something smaller. They don't have a choice to redesign something smaller, but they could leave the state.
Last night, Indiana Republican Governor Mike Braun and state Senate leaders unveiled their proposal to lure the Bears across state lines. The Bears call it a, quote, significant development. The plan involves creating a new Northwest Indiana Stadium Commission. That public body would own, pay for, and assume the risk of building a stadium, with the Bears keeping most of the revenue. The team, in turn, would pay rent and own the stadium when all the debt is paid off. And they would owe zero taxes. Contrast that with their plans in Arlington Heights. The Bears pay billions in construction costs, the Bears own the stadium, and the Bears pay property taxes. Pritzker and Chicago-based lawmakers have rejected the Bears' plans, likening it to a tax break, but they're now feeling the heat. The governor says he thinks the home state still has the advantage.
Now, I believe it's best for the Bears to stay in the state of Illinois. I've always said that. I do not think the fans, want the Chicago Bears to be based anywhere else except in the state of Illinois.
Tenalia says the state is set to lose out on thousands of jobs and billions in revenue if lawmakers drop the ball. He says the team is offering taxpayers a fair deal.
The Chicago Bears are not asking for taxpayer money to build their stadium in Arlington Heights. It's a big, important piece of this puzzle.
And of course, wherever the Bears build is going to be indoors, and they won't have to worry about a weekend like this one where it's going to require a few layers to stay safe out there.
Layers or batteries?
Yeah, both.
Both.
Right. You know what? We have temperatures that are going to be in the teens coming up on Sunday during game time, and we've got wind chills that will be at 0 or likely a little bit below 0. We also have a cold night later on this evening as we drop down to about 15 degrees overnight tonight. It'll be cold. Right now, temperatures are not all that bad. We're still showing some upper 30s across parts of the area, 37 degrees coming in at Joliet right now. We got a little break from some light snow earlier. There's a little light rainfall down through Will County, a little bit of light snowfall to our north and to our northwest. And we'll continue to see these pockets of snow showers, some areas of flurries coming up almost the entire weekend. Let's jump forward to that Bears forecast. Kickoff time, temperatures dropping down into the upper teens, mid-teens by mid-game and beyond, with, again, a snow shower certainly possible during the game, certainly a few flurries around. Right now, we do have the winds that are kicking up to 23 miles per hour at DeKalb, 25 mile per hour wind gusts right now in Rockford. Those winds are going to continue to push from 20 to about 25 miles per hour all weekend long, dropping the wind chills into the teens and the single digits for much of the weekend. It's going to be a cold weekend.
All right, Mark, bundle up, they say, right? Well, the FBI Chicago Most Wanted list is getting shorter. Early this morning, FBI agents and Riverdale police arrested Antonio Stigler. He was wanted for first-degree murder following the shooting death of a pregnant woman. This happened in the backyard of a home in Riverdale. This was in October of 2024. Investigators say neither Stigler nor the victim lived where the shooting happened, and few details are available as to how or why the shooting even took place there. While the FBI partnered with other law enforcement agencies to make today's arrest, they say it would not have been possible without some help from the public as well as the media.
Following the interview that the FBI did on this channel a few weeks ago, we received a significant amount of support from our local community. The tips and leads that we received were integral in us arresting this individual today.
Stigler is the second fugitive to be captured on the FBI Chicago Most Wanted list.
The man accused of throwing his wife over the 24th floor railing of their South Loop condo building is trying to get out on pretrial release. 40-year-old Adam Beckerink is charged with the murder of Caitlin Tracy, but as our attorneys argue, there is zero evidence to connect him to her death. They claim Tracy abused drugs and alcohol and that her autopsy shows she had both in her system. The defense also argues when Tracy died, Beckerink was recovering from knee surgery, which limited his mobility. Prosecutors, however, say there's plenty of evidence tying Beckerink to the crime, including what was found in the stairwell where Tracy died.
DNA swabs taken from the hallway side of the stairwell door excluded the victim and showed very strong support that the defendant is a contributor of that DNA profile. The defendant's DNA profile is approximately 9.2 septillion times more likely if it originated from the defendant than if it originated from another unknown unrelated individual.
Now, Beckering was extradited to Chicago this week. He had been serving time for a separate domestic violence case in Michigan. The next court date is February 3rd.
This weekend, thousands are expected to gather in Broadview to protest immigration enforcement. Demonstrations are planned outside the ICE facility.
Leslie Moreno joins us live there with what we can expect and a warning from Broadview police.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, that No Kings protest is scheduled for tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Village here expecting thousands of people, anywhere between 2,000 and 5,000. That demonstration will be held here behind me at the Broadview ICE Facility Center. The Village mayor is saying they are coordinating with state, community, and municipal public safety agencies to make sure everyone is safe. The protest comes as President Donald Trump has increased federal immigration enforcement across the country. Tensions are already high following a deadly shooting involving an ICE agent in Minneapolis. On Thursday, Trump also threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act there as well. Tonight, Broadview police say certain items will be banned. Items like weapons, rigid sign poles, protective gear, large bags, throwable items, and anyone who doesn't comply will be asked to leave. The organizer of the No Kings protest says holding the demonstrations here in Broadview is intentional.
And Broadview is a place of meaning in this movement. It is a place of intolerance. It is a place of cruelty. It's a processing station, so it's the first place that migrants are taken to, and not just migrants, by the way, American citizens. So Broadview will, unfortunately, is a stain on our society and an important symbol for people. And so we're bringing the protest to Broadview because we're bringing the Latino community primarily to answer for it, to stand up for itself and for each other.
Village leaders are also warning residents about street closures and delays starting as early as Saturday morning. We do have a full list of those road closures on fox32chicago.com. For now, reporting live here in Broadview, Les Moreno, Fox Chicago.
Leslie, thanks very much. And let's get back to the Bears. Joining us now is Mark Gannis, co-founder and managing director of Sports Corp, a sports business consulting firm. Mark, getting back to this Indiana proposal, the way I understand it here is Indiana is proposing to assume all the costs and the risks of building this stadium, owning it. The Bears get the benefit. How do you compare the proposal from Indiana versus what's going on in Illinois?
Well, there are a couple of aspects here. First, you have to think of certainty. Indiana is proposing to move legislation quickly, which would add certainty to something that in Chicago, Arlington Heights, has been dragging for a number of years. So Illinois really has to step up its efforts to provide certainty that Arlington Heights can be a real deal. That's number one. Then number two, you look at the comparison. If you want to do a side-by-side comparison, look, there's no doubt that the suitor, if you will, of Northwest Indiana is going to put a stronger financial proposal on the table. But the Bears have said right from the start they want to be in Arlington Heights. They bought the land years ago. It is the best location for them to put the new stadium and to be there for generations to come. Ultimately, I would expect that if Illinois does step up with certainty for the site, with certainty for property taxes, with certainty for the infrastructure in a timely manner, that the Bears will stay the course and will be in Arlington Heights. But Illinois has to step up.
And when you say step up, Mark, what does that step up look like, especially when you compare to what other NFL teams have done in terms of moving their stadiums elsewhere?
Well, the truth of the matter is Illinois is not being asked to do anywhere near as much as some of the other locations, some of the other governments have actually done. Washington, D.C. is putting quite a bit of money, $1 billion plus, into the Washington Commander Stadium, the suburbs of Cleveland for the new Browns Stadium. Kansas, the state of Kansas, is putting billions up for their stadium. That's not what's being requested here in Illinois. And by the way, in all of those cases, the teams are not paying any net property taxes. In one case, they're paying property taxes, but it's coming right back for stadium operations. So the state of Illinois is not being asked to put up anywhere near as much money and anywhere near as much risk or anywhere near as much effort as those other communities and governments are. So here they're being asked for certainty for infrastructure and property tax caps. And that's basically it. That's a very reasonable ask on the part of the Bears.
So you say Illinois lawmakers better get working on this. How long do they have before the Bears just have to say, look, we wanted to go to Arlington Heights, but we have to take this deal in Indiana?
Well, Paris, it wasn't that long ago. You remember the Bears put out a letter saying that they were told by senior state legislators that they were not going to be a priority for all of 2026. I think that statement has gone by the board. I think people are now looking at maybe sometime in the next weeks, months, that something needs to get done. The Bears have some by their own hand taken a lot of time that off the clock. It's been years. They spent a lot of time focused on Chicago, and it really wasn't ever going to happen in downtown Chicago. And then they focused on Arlington Heights, and they've been really, been given, to use a football parlance, the stiff arm by the state legislators for the past year and a half, 2 years. The time isn't there any longer. I think they're looking at weeks and months, not years any longer. It's this legislative session or bust.
And lawmakers are about to start that, and it's funny, they're starting to walk back those comments because Cam Buckner, the state representative, said, hey, we deal with things that aren't our priorities all the time. So it sounds like they're getting the message here. Mark Gannis, thank you as always for your expertise.
My pleasure.
All right, have a good weekend. We'll still ahead on the news at 5. The protests in Iran are dying down, but President Trump says he's still considering using the military.
And millions of people in Illinois are getting a clean slate. We explain a new law.
And a letter filled with racism. The recipient, a 16-year-old high school student. You will hear why he's frustrated with his Northwest Indiana high school.
Sponsored by Four Seasons, your trusted local experts for
Welcome back. We have a news alert that we need to tell you about tonight. A gun and bullets found inside Homewood Flossmoor High School. The weapon was discovered after a student altercation. It had not been fired and was then handed over to the police. Someone was also taken into custody. A lockdown was issued and officers were on the campus during a staggered release at the end of the school day. Still very frightening for parents. The Trump administration officials are watching developments in Iran closely after the regime promised to stop executing protesters, I should say. Protests in the country are now tapering off as security forces make thousands of arrests. Resistant leaders are calling on the president to take military action to show the protesters America is on their side. Sources say the White House prefers a diplomatic solution, but the president is refusing to rule out airstrikes if Iran's government resumes killing protesters.
I believe the president is a man of his word. But as I said before, regardless of whether action is taken or not, we as Iranians have no choice to carry on the fight.
Militaries in countries surrounding Iran say they are prepared for both offensive and defensive operations if the U.S. decides to strike. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado is speaking out in Washington today. She explains why she brought her Nobel Peace Prize to the White House, saying the president, quote, deserves it. Back in Venezuela, the country's Vice President Delcy Rodriguez continues to run the government. The U.S. CIA director met with her yesterday. The White House says the government has been cooperating.
We obviously had a $500 million energy deal that was struck in large part because of the cooperation from Ms. Rodriguez. Venezuela and Ms. Rodriguez have also confirmed that they will be releasing political prisoners from Venezuela.
Unrest in the country still remains as armed militias continue to roam the streets there. President Trump says he could put tariffs on countries who oppose his plan to take over Greenland. The comment comes as a group of lawmakers travel to Denmark to try to de-escalate the situation. Connor Hansen has all the details.
We may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security.
President Trump not backing down on his push for the U.S. to take over Greenland, the semi-autonomous territory of NATO ally Denmark. The tariff threat comes as a bipartisan congressional delegation visits Copenhagen, attempting to reassure Danish leaders.
So that we can lower the temperature and have a more constructive dialogue about the best path forward.
When you ask the American people whether or not they think it is a good idea for the United States to acquire Greenland, the vast majority, some 75%, will say, we do not think that that is a good idea.
President Trump says the territory is crucial for U.S. national defense and will be key to his planned Golden Dome missile defense system. Its strategic location would also counter threats from Russia and China as warming temperatures open up new sea lanes in the Arctic. Greenland is also rich with key rare earth minerals.
The reason this is urgent is because the Chinese and the Russians are making inroads. They want to be in Greenland.
You never appreciate keeping the wolf or the bear from your door until they're knocking on it.
Danish and Greenlandic leaders say they are not willing to give up the territory, but are willing to help bolster security there. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox Chicago.
So just looking at the weather in Greenland, Mark, I was curious, like, where do they compare to us? Today, the high was 31 degrees. On Sunday, the high will also be 31 degrees. We can't say that that will be the truth for us here at home.
31, how pleasant. We should go there to get warmer, right? You know, I was taking a little bit of a deep dive on Greenland this past week and some of the weather, and the southwest coast has such nasty weather, it's basically uninhabitable, and that's why the entire southwest coast, there's hardly anybody that lives there. They live on the other side of the island. Well, we live here, which is really a great spot. But today we do have a couple of snow showers around. And this afternoon, we've even seen some green show up on the radar screen. That's because temperatures have warmed up to about 37 to 38 degrees at the surface. So you may run into an isolated raindrop here or there. But that's more of an anomaly. We're going to deal with more colder temperatures coming up this weekend, along with some snow showers. A little low pressure area, actually a bigger low pressure area rotating around the upper Midwest. We have a couple of them here. These are fast moving Alberta clippers coming in with some cold air. In fact, successive waves of colder air, along with some snow showers. So we'll have these snow showers on and off for much of the weekend, all the way between now and through Sunday night. Well, temperatures tonight cooling back down into the 20s by 10 o'clock, low 20s overnight after midnight, and by sunrise tomorrow morning, we're down into the teens, and tomorrow largely staying in the teens for much of the day. So those Alberta clippers are bringing in colder temperatures, just successive waves of colder upon colder air, and that's why by the time we get to Monday morning, those temperatures topping out only in the single digits and only into the low teens. It is going to be a cold weekend leading to Monday. The reason for this, the jet stream diving right down out of Canada, swirling around the Midwest, pulling that cold air right into our backyard. To tell you more, I've got the 7-day forecast, which does include a little bit of a warm-up. coming your way.
Start your weekend with a slam.
Welcome back. The suspect accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk back in court today as prosecutors push for a new request.
Tyler Robinson's defense team wants a Utah judge to deny a defense request to disqualify the county attorney from the case. The defense argues the attorney's child had contact with people connected to the case, a claim prosecutors say does not create a conflict. The prosecutors claim text messages and DNA evidence link Robinson to the killing. There's a preliminary hearing set for May.
3 members of the cult-like group, the Zyzians, in a Maryland courtroom today. They are facing trespassing, weapons, and also drug charges. The Zyzians group has been linked to 6 deaths, including a highway shootout in Vermont that left a group member and U.S. Border Patrol agent dead. Today, they were granted permission to work together in preparation for their upcoming trial. Authorities say the group is made up of highly intelligent computer scientists drawn together by radical beliefs about veganism, gender identity, and also artificial intelligence.
Yo, here's the train. The train's coming in 1 minute. Wait, can I go? You want to come?
Yeah. Split-second decision by some police officers helped save a life. A man fell onto some tracks at a train station in Massachusetts. Officers heard the next train was just a minute away, so they jumped down to rescue him. And then they pulled the man up, got him back up themselves with just seconds to spare. The man is now recovering in the hospital.
It's about to break. Don't go near it. It's about to break.
They knew it was coming. A California couple going viral after this unfortunate moment. A woman named Barbara was recording the video after she and her husband noticed a bulge had formed during some intense rain. They thought water was pooling in the ceiling and were going to drain it into a bucket, but as you saw there, it just collapses right before their eyes. People online saying they can relate to the bucket toss.
Well, yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. A house for sale is being called the ultimate Florida man home. The 3-bed, 3-bath home is 4,000 square feet, but filled with lots of incredible sights. There's a cave walk-through and a jail feature. It has a retro kitchen with a salon-style living room, saloon-style living room. Outside, there's a nice pool with King Kong looking over you. And the house is listed for $500,000, and there is currently a pending offer.
Doesn't look too bad.
All right, still ahead on the news at 5. Bear down and bundle up. The game is going to be freezing.
We've got a reminder of what is and what is not allowed at Soldier Field.
I've never backed down.
And now at the bottom of the hour, we are T-minus 48 hours from the Bears game. The temps, they're only dropping lower.
And there's a new law in Illinois giving people the chance at a clean slate.
But first, a 16-year-old student in Chesterton, Indiana, says he is exhausted by more than schoolwork.
Julian Blevins, a record-holding track athlete and Special Olympics volunteer, says he's facing racism at Chesterton High School, where he is one of very few black students.
And days ago, he expressed his frustration online, and the post quickly went viral.
Hey, pretty good, and you?
It's a common response when someone asks, "How are you?" But for Julian Blevins,
I'm tired. I'm so tired.
the 16-year-old Chesterton High School sophomore says the weight has become overwhelming.
I'm ready to give up on this entire thing. Giving up on something I love, so track.
Push, you! Keep pushing!
Pushing is something the track star knows how to do. It's what the sophomore has been forced to do again and again.
Maybe if I go to a Gary school, more my diverse school, or people my color, then I wouldn't have to deal with this as much.
But this challenge has become too much to bear. Just days before winter break, Julian received a handwritten letter written by another student at his school.
It went something along the lines of black people don't deserve anything, any present. They're always jumping and stealing gifts. And talking about how I'm broke.
The letter was the last straw for Julian and his mother, Natalie Cole. It read, in part, "You're a broke expletive, chicken-eating, Kool-Aid drinking boy." Instead of a Christmas card before break, this is what he got, and it didn't stop there.
They know where I live, and put my address down there and my Snapchat username.
Cole said this wasn't the first time she warned the school about racism in a predominantly white environment. This is a letter that she had sent in the past. After this current incident, when she felt she wasn't getting real answers, she took her complaint even higher.
So who did you go to?
I went to the Office of Civil Rights. You can go on the website, and then you file it with the Education Department.
Somebody wrote me a racist letter in your class, whether you knew about it or not.
Julian says after he made a post about the letter that went viral and spoke about it with classmates, his teacher overheard the conversation and took him to the office. According to his suspension notice, Julian was labeled disrespectful. He was suspended for 4 days. The school's principal, Brent Martinson, released a statement. The statement reads in part, CHS administrators began an investigation that included interviews with several students and staff members. Recorded video footage was reviewed and physical evidence was analyzed. CHS School Resource resource officers were consulted throughout for support. As a result of the investigation, appropriate disciplinary consequences were assigned. Any future allegations will be investigated and addressed in alignment with school rules. But Julian says even after the letter, after the suspension, the racism hasn't stopped.
We had a little bathroom break and there was a freshman in there. The freshman referred to me as an N-word. He was like, "What's up, my N-word?" And that shocked me.
I want them to bring in, I don't know if it'll be a cultural awareness person.
There's no reason I should be having to come to school every day and deal with some type of racism.
Chesterton, Indiana, part of the Dunlin School Corporation, is largely white, with 88.9% of residents identifying as white and just 1.5% as black. That's according to 2024 U.S. Census data. The family hopes their concerns will finally be heard and is scheduled to meet with the school district next week.
An Ohio grand jury has indicted a Chicago man in the double homicide of his ex-wife and her husband. They were killed in their Columbus home last month. Michael David McKee is a vascular surgeon. He's been charged with aggravated murder and aggravated burglary while using a firearm suppressor. Now, he's being held in a Winnebago County jail and has waived his right to an extradition hearing. His next due in court next week. And a teen has been arrested in New York after a deadly shooting outside a Cicero school. 17-year-old Joanne Adarve Sanchez was killed January 8th. He was a student at Morton East High School, and police say the suspect is also 17, but they are not a Morton East student. The teen is awaiting extradition back to Illinois, where formal charges will be filed.
Bally's is pushing back the opening of its new $1.7 billion casino right here in the city of Chicago. And you may be asking, well, what is the problem? Its license to operate at Medina Temple expires in September. The Chicago Tribune reports State Representative Cam Buckner introduced a bill Thursday that will give Bally's a 12-month extension while it finishes construction. That means the River West location won't be ready until 2027. It was supposed to open late this year. Well, Pierce, I know you had some great guests on your show this week. The Chicago Report. Tell us about one of your favorites here.
Yeah, Tia, we did a lot on Venezuela, on Iran, on the Bears, but one of my favorite segments this week was last night, Thursday, a topic that we're all concerned about, and that's AI and misinformation and AI videos about the news that they go viral and they confuse a lot of people. So we spoke with Jim Warren, who is the head of NewsGuard, a Chicago-based news, let's say, a company that helps you suss out what's fake and real about the news.
I like that.
And he talked about some of the worst examples of AI misinformation. Here's some video that's clearly AI generated, and then there were some photos of the ICE agent who shot Rene Good and photos of his face. There we go. That's not really him. That's not a real person, is it?
No, it's not. And there are tricks of the trade that you can figure things out. For instance, Sora, S-O-R-A, is a new device created by OpenAI, which we more familiarly know as ChatGPT.
Right.
And Sora has put a watermark of basically a cartoonish cloud in the same way that the Treasury Department puts watermarks on our bills to try to prevent counterfeiting. So Sora puts these on to tell you, well, this is fake. This is not real.
But those don't have that, do they?
But increasingly, bad actors are able to sort of hide those watermarks.
Yeah, so those were not a real person. Those were pictures that were AI generated of the alleged, or the ICE agent that killed Rene Good up there in Minnesota. So Monday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Chicago Report. We're going to be back Monday, hopefully talking about a huge Bears victory.
Yeah, I think you will. That's for sure. The game is going to be freezing this weekend. We already know that. So the Bears are reminding everyone what is allowed and what is not. Fans at Soldier Field can wear battery-operated clothing, but just know you could get some extra screening. Also allow blankets and hand warmers. You can buy both, though, of those things, of course, inside the Pro Shop, too. And make sure to take advantage of the warming centers, which you can find all throughout that stadium. What you cannot do is bring cardboard to sit or stand on, because I know sometimes, you know, in some of those seats, depending on where you are, your bum gets a little cold. So.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't really work, but I do have my hand warmers ready to go for my gloves. I will be out there on Sunday. Mark, what's it going to be like for me and the 61,000 other folks braving this weather?
I'm happy to see I can bring a blanket there. That means I can bring my wubby with me, so that's kind of nice. You know, the one with kittens on it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's extra warm. Yeah, so, bring your wubby out there. You'll be okay, right? We have temperatures that are going to be in, your wubby.
What is a wubby?
A wubby. It's like a little blanket that you've had.
I've never heard this until today.
Oh.
I'm going to go out and buy myself a wubby now because this sounds amazing.
Wubbies are amazing. Get one with kittens on it or hearts or something cute, right? We've got temperatures in the 30s this hour. As warm as 35, 36 degrees. We're crashing down into the teens overnight tonight. Tomorrow, daytime high temperatures back up. I think mostly right around 19 degrees in Chicago. Some of the suburbs could hit 20, 21 degrees. We're not going to split hairs there. A lot of clouds around. We'll have some snow showers from time to time. Some of those snow showers could bring us a little bit of accumulation, but these are not major snow producers. What they are snow showers that could, kind of blot out visibility for a while, could make the roads a little bit slick from time to time, but not widespread snow across the entire region. They're kind of snow showers that dance across the area, and we're going to have those not only tomorrow, but tomorrow night and into Sunday as well. Look at these temperatures. Let's go to tomorrow. 19 degrees, slightly warmer by a couple of degrees on Sunday. And then look at Monday. We're all the way down to 10 degrees. That means most of Monday spent in the single digits. Our wind chills on Monday about 15 degrees below zero, and we're back into the 20s and 30s, back to about normal right here in this little time period, and also on the Friday, but then we fall off again next week. The on again, off again, on again forecast continues, and we'll tell you more about that coming up.
The Chicago Wolves take on
Welcome back. About 2 million people in Illinois could soon be eligible to have their criminal records wiped out thanks to a new bill signed into law today. Saquon joins us in studio to break it down for us. Say.
Hey, Paris, good evening to you. Well, we obviously know background checks are pretty common when you're applying to jobs, maybe looking for housing. And those background checks are usually meant to filter out any applicants with any sort of criminal record. But under this new law called the Clean Slate Act, law enforcement agencies and clerks will be required to automatically hide eligible criminal records from the public by the year 2029. Now, this only applies to people with nonviolent convictions as well as dismissed or reversed charges and arrests. So any convictions for more serious crimes like sexual violence, DUI, or any that might qualify for sex offender registration will not be eligible for automatic sealing. Now, we heard from a state representative who played a key role in introducing this bill about the stigma around people looking to get back on their feet and how the Clean Slate Act aims to curb that.
That's what happens when people have convictions. They are judged by the worst moment in their lives as though that is who they are. We have to remember that there's a plan for all of our stories, and there are so many people, whether they have been incarcerated or not, that carry convictions that deserve a clean slate.
It is worth noting here that law enforcement agencies and other relevant agencies will still be able to see those sealed records, but anyone doing those public and private background checks will not. As you mentioned, about 2 million people could benefit from this new law, which goes into effect in June of this year. Paris.
Okay, Say, thanks very much. And we're not going to see too much snow this weekend. The real threat to bitter cold. Mark is back with his full weather forecast right after the break.
I'm Tina with Next in Sports. It is mid-January and the Chicago Bears are still playing football. The belief is real as the Bears are preparing to host the Rams on Sunday in the divisional round. Hear what they had to say when it comes to turning the page. Next in Sports.
From his church in Atlanta to
Well, welcome back. Temperatures right now, they are the warmest you're going to see over the next 5 days. We are still in the middle 30s here in Chicago. Winds now out of the southwest at 11 miles per hour makes it feel like the upper 20s. From here on out, we're dropping down, and you will not see much, if any, more green on the radar screen. This indicates a little bit of light rainfall trying to fall across some of the far south and southwestern suburbs with those warmer temperatures. But the colder air pushing in, everything's going to be blue coming up over the weekend. And that blue will really show where the scattered snow showers are coming up both tomorrow, Saturday into Sunday. Temperatures right now holding at 34 degrees this hour in Aurora, 36 degrees in Joliet. You see these temperatures are all well above the freezing point at this time, but that's going to be changing as we dip down into the teens overnight tonight. A couple of low pressure centers here over the Midwest, and those represent fast moving little Alberta clippers that are coming through, not dropping a lot of snowfall. Enough to maybe coat the ground from time to time over the coming weekend, but also enough to pull in some cold air behind each storm, and that's why we get colder and colder as we go through the weekend. So temperatures about equal, upper teens, low 20s for Saturday and Sunday. Not all day snows, just some scattered light snow showers, but again, could briefly blot out visibility and also make some slick spots on the roads. Be careful there. But by Monday, look at that, daytime high temperatures of 10 with wind chills on Monday, about 15 degrees below zero. So one system pushing through. We've got these little elongated areas of low pressure. That's what the little dark lines are here, the brown lines, kicking up a little snow shower action. And you can see we see that from time to time, but not all day snows. Just a lot of clouds, some winds at about 15 to 20 to 25 miles per hour. Another reinforcing shot. This is 5:45 on your Sunday, and you can see some snow showers around with breezy conditions as that next front kicks through. So tonight, 15 overnight tonight. Tomorrow, let's go 19. Wind still out of the west at 10 to 15 to 25. And your 7-day forecast. Darn chilly right through the entire weekend into Monday and even Tuesday, 23. I guess we're getting close to normal on Wednesday, 32, and we're 29 coming up next week. But as you can see, there's a lot of clouds on there and not a whole lot of sunshine.
All right, Mark, good thing the Bears aren't playing on Monday because we know we're 2 days away from the playoff game and fans are pumped up. We can't talk about Bears fans without bringing up this guy. He stole the show last week, and it's Brandon Martinez, a.k.a. the cheese grater guy. Yeah. He went viral after whipping out a cheese grater inside Soldier Field and, of course, grating some, Parmesan, pecorino or something like that. Someone needed a big bowl of pasta or something to grate that on. Yes. We caught up with him this week on Chicago Live and asked him how he was even able to get all that inside.
I just put it in my hoodie pocket. I really didn't think anything of it. It's just how I intended to celebrate when they scored touchdowns, and the metal detectors didn't go off. And that was it.
Well, there you go. And thanks to Angie's Pizza, Brandon got 2 tickets to the game this weekend. I don't think he's going to shred ram horns or something.
It'll be frozen.
But he told us he's going to leave the grater at home. There we go. And who knows? He's gonna shear a ram on Sunday. That sounds kind of bloody.
It does.
Dangerous.
It sounds very awful, actually. Yeah. But it needs to happen. When the fans get ready, the Bears are putting on the finishing touches.
Yeah, Tina's back with more on how the team is feeling. Tina, what's the message going into Sunday?
All right, well, the message all season long for this Bears team is focusing on being 1-0 every single week. That mentality is even more important now after an emotional comeback win against Green Bay in the wild card round as they get set to face a high-powered Rams offense led by a veteran quarterback in Matthew Stafford. It's a big test for a young Bears team on the biggest stage yet. Here are the Bears and Rams in their own words.
Caleb with a double move, throw down the left sideline. DJ Moore inside the 5, touchdown! The Bears have come from all the way behind. All the ghosts of 15 seasons has been released into this cold January night.
We can't be thinking about Green Bay anymore. As fun as that was, it's a whole new week.
Obviously, everybody's excited, but the next game will be here before we know it.
You're like, all right, now the priority is the Rams, and you can't have a lull coming off a game like that or anything.
I got nothing but respect for the opponent that we're going to play this upcoming week because they're damn good.
It's a top offense in the league. He has a top quarterback in the league, and when you got those two things, you can run a pretty well-oiled machine over there.
They're rolling right now, so with them rolling on roll, they probably have that same energy coming in here, so we got to continue to focus on us.
We don't want to put ourselves in a hole against a team like this, like we've done a number of times this year.
It's going to be a good challenge, but we know we can get it done. It's going to be fun to be able to go compete against them.
This is going to take our best foot forward here to win this one this week.
Rams and Bears on Sunday at 5:30. Meanwhile, the latest here on the Bears injury report. DJ Moore is clear after being limited in practice on Wednesday and Thursday. And Rome Odunze is listed as questionable, although he said yesterday he will play. The Bears conversation continues on a special 1-hour edition of Chicago Sports Tonight. Luke Canellis, Cassie Carlson, David Call, and I will preview the Bears and Rams from every single angle. Westwood One's Nick Costas will join us with his best bets for the weekend, and we'll talk with a very special guest, the one and only Jim Cornelison, about what it'll be like to sing the national anthem at Soldier Field on Sunday. A 1-hour Chicago sports special tonight at 6 p.m. and at 9:30 right here on Fox Chicago. And a reminder, once again, put it on your calendar, in your phone, on the fridge. Join us here on Fox Chicago for a full pre- and post-game coverage of the Bears and Rams game. Bears Game Day Live gets started at a special time, 12:30. And after the game, head on over here to Fox Chicago for full reaction and post-game analysis, including media availabilities from Bears head coach Ben Johnson and the players, all right here on your home of the Bears, Fox Chicago. The dominoes in the MLB continue to fall free agency. Yesterday, the Cubs welcomed in Alex Bregman and former Cub Kyle Tucker. Guess what? He's headed west to L.A. with the Dodgers today. It's Bo Bichette to the Mets, a reported 3-year, $126 million deal, a two-time All-Star. The two-time All-Star, was considered to be a target for the Cubs this offseason. He hit .348 in 7 World Series games against the Dodgers there. Bulls are at Brooklyn tonight for the first of a home-and-home series. We're back with more after this final break.
Fox 32 News.
Paris is going to be in the thick of it.
All right, I got my gloves, I got my hand warmers, I got my ski jacket, snow pants.
And you know,
Are you going to wear the scuba suit like Matthew Stafford?
Maybe I should just wear a big bear costume.
I don't know. Neoprene is always a good look at Soldier Field. All right, temperatures coming up tomorrow. I think right around 20 degrees. I'm going to go 19 here in the city. I'm going to go 21 on Sunday. But Bears temperatures, kickoff time, upper teens. Halftime, mid-teens, wind chills around 0 to below, 2 below 0, not -2, but from 0 to degrees below 0. It's going to be cold.
I'm tempted to ask you what
it's colder as the game goes down.
Yes,
goes
exactly.
on. All right, we'll bring our wubbies, and thank you for joining us at 5.
And now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We're on all the streaming platforms.
Chicago Sports Today is next. Have a great night.
Thank you.